Hi guys, thanks all for coming. So tonight I'm going to tell you about successful collaboration between design and development. When I was born, my parents gave me the name Ninya, as if they knew I would grow up as a shy kid that preferred to hide in places in trees or in cages. But growing up in the city of Amsterdam kinda pulled me out of my shell, and well, today I'm standing here in front of you guys. So, after getting my bachelor degree, I started my career as a digital designer at a small agency here in Amsterdam. And working there, oh, this cable. And after working there for 3 years, I was looking for a new challenge. So I started freelancing. And I worked together with a lot of different agencies, some startups, and I met a ton of different teams. And in the beginning, I really liked meeting all those new people and really learning about their work ethics. But after a year, it kind of felt empty because after working for 3 weeks on a project, I would leave the team behind and also leave the work behind and lose the connection with the designs that you've made and actually never got to know what, if the clients were happy in the end, if the users were using the product properly. So I decided I wanted to belong to a team again. So 7 months ago, I started here at Lively, and I really like working in a team, like owning our successes, but also owning our mistakes and really grow together as a team. Well, teamwork. I believe it's necessary to make good products and to create happy clients and happy users. And for now, I would divide the teams in 2 camps. So you have camp creative. Those are the designers, the sales managers, and the clients. And most of the times, those are the extroverted people. And then you have the other camp, the developers, the product owners, the CTOs, and most part of the team are introverts. And I was wondering, like, you have 2 camps, but they're both celebrating their own success. So when a project or a sprint is running, you have like the first party, right? So the designs are finished, Camp Creative is super excited and celebrating their success, while Camp Tech is waiting for the handover of the designs and still working behind their computers, getting ready to code. And then a few weeks later, you have the second party, deploying. And there's a launch party going on, but the creatives are already working on their new project or on another sprint, and they're not joining the party. So how do we celebrate like we are one single team? I think there are 3 challenges in the process of collaborating. So the first one is that at crucial moments, the experts are separated. The second is the expectations to each other are unaligned. And the meaning of the definition of done is different for both camps. So the first, the separated experts. Well, in an ideal world, we're all working together at the same time in the same project, working agile. Everybody is available in the team. But in reality, in agencies, when you're working for different clients, that's often not the case. So you have the start of the project, where the designers talk to the users and the clients and really start the concepting phase. And after that, you have the middle, and the whole team is together working on it. But in the end, the design team leaves the sprint and development is still fixing the last parts, of fixing the bugs and do the maintenance. So, the start of the project, where the designers are the main key players in this phase. You have this. Well, designers love beautiful things, and they love to build castles for their users. But in reality, there's only time to build a cabin. So what we do here at Lively is we try to involve development in the first phase of a project. To give you an example, we were working on a project for the Ministry of Defense. Peter already told you a bit about it. And a few weeks ago, we went to the army, as you can see, and we gained the feedback from the users that they figured out during the pilot phase. And what we see when you involve the developer in this phase is that he really learns about the choices that we've made as a design team, but also learns the feedback from the user. And in that way, he gains a relation with the designs. But he can also estimate if it's possible to build it in a given time. And I will skip the middle of the project for now. So in the end of the project, you have Camp Tech. And well, actually, there's always missing something in the designs. There are so many detailed aspects that, well, yeah, there's always something missing. And it often happens that there's no designer available to ask for the missing parts. So it feels like, well, blue is a good color for this, and it's such a small thing, so it doesn't have a big impact. But in reality, at this moment, the inconsistency is created because the developer just decide, oh, this is a hover state, and well, nobody noticing, but you get all these like floating new things, and it's nowhere documented. So what we do, we create style sheets to document every component, and it creates consistency during the design, and it's also a fallback for development. So then we have the unaligned expectations. So hi, you can find the designs here. Good luck with that. Well, I'm guilty of writing this email in the past, so and it's really the base of creating an alignment and things that that developers doesn't understand. So of course you get the design briefs to development, and it happens at almost every agency, but even here are unaligned expectations. I will give you an example. A few weeks ago, I was discussing this design with a developer here at Lively, and we talked about the responsiveness of this page and how the grid would behave on different screen resolutions. So, of course, we designed the whole shebang, and it helps a client to know what they get and what to expect, and it helps us for designers to check if it works with what we came up with, but it's actually not the best way for development. Because when I was talking this through, the developer grabbed his laptop and he just started writing this. So you have a screen resolution, you have the first row, the second row, and the third row, and you can just write down the percentages, and that's the only thing we need to know. So we didn't have to put all that effort in designing every screen just for development. So this was actually the only thing that we needed to do. So as a designer, when you make a change, you cannot expect of the whole team that they see the change. For example, if you change the font and the designers are over the moon, they're like, oh, it looks so much better with this font. But many people, they don't see the change. So what we do is we write change logs. So it's a very detailed list of every small part that is changed in a design sprint. And it really helps transferring the work, but it also makes it clear for every person in the whole team, so not only the developers. And it also helps the designer to work more structured and try to follow some patterns while working. And those patterns also help with a creative mess. And I think a creative mess is not necessarily bad because it belongs to creative people, but you should stay in your own creative mess and don't share it with the whole team because it gives noise. So what we're working on is we're writing a sort of design Bible, and it gives us structure in the whole design team, and it helps us align the way that we're working as designers together. But it also helps transferring our work in a more clear way to developers because all the designers are working in the same way. We're all giving our artboards the same name. We all use the folders in the same way. So it really helps getting those expectations more aligned. And then the end, the definition of done. So often, well, in the end of a project, when you're nearly at the end, there's needs some testing to be done. And when a developer has built it, well, it's working on my Mac, so I think it's fine. And yeah, that's a thing what happens a lot. And also with the rest of the team, for instance, you give a demo to a client, and then you realize, okay, did someone in the creative team actually test it before giving this demo? Because every team member is running after the clock of time, and it gets more important to get things done than get things right. Yeah, so as a whole team, because of the time pressure, we dropping the ball of being of making it perfect. We drop it just before the finish line because of the stress of time. So the goal with testing is, of course, make it in small chunks. So you have only a few features to test, and then there are only a few bugs found, so you can fix them easily. But in reality, we wait with testing too long, so it's way too much, and then all those bugs are found, and there's no time to fix it in this sprint. So all the bugs that are found has to be fixed in a later moment. Yeah, so it's really important to let each other know what is important for the other. So as a design team, we really say, okay, please make it a habit to, when something is missing or you're not completely sure how to style this, that you ask us to look what you're building. But it's also the other way around. Like when we're designing something, to really involve development. Like we've thought about this, but is this easy to build, or is it going to cost you like a week or something? And to give you an example, like even for the smallest things, we created a habit here at Lively that developers ask, is this animation for clicking just a small radio button, is it what you had in mind? And to create that habit between the developers and the designers, it's you. Yeah, you really see that that the two camps are working together more closely. So yeah. So we both have to make compromises. As a design team, we have to break down the castle a little bit, and as a developer, sometimes you need to put in a little bit more effort to make an animation or something, and but it really helps to grow stronger as a team. So, well, in teamwork, you have the clients and the users, but they really need Camp Creative to come up with new concepts and new stuff. But Camp Tech is even as important as Camp Creative. We all need each other to create the one success that we're all aiming for, because in the end, we're all aiming for the same thing. And I think if you put this on top, to be humble and really learn from each other, then we can celebrate together. So. That was it. Does anyone ask questions? Yeah.
You mentioned a lot about the effort of designer to come to the final result together. But what do you know as a designer, what development team can do better to come to that result?
Well, I think it's really about talking to each other. So in every phase of the project, to sit down and ask, what do you need from me and what do I need for you, and align those expectations. So.
One more question.
Oh, yeah, of course.
How do you deal with personal ambitions? Because in my previous company, I heard many times that designers say like, "Oh my God, nowadays everybody's designer. You can like design yourself. Like, why don't you listen to what I'm telling you?" Or developers are saying like, "Okay, can you do something which makes sense from a development perspective? Because what you are doing is like, we cannot make this happen." So yeah. How do you find the balance? How do you actually?
Yeah, I think it's really about that being humble to each other and not always wanting to talk the loudest or like really pressure your own success through it. But if you see it as a whole team and see like, well, I'm willing to compromise and scale the design a bit down so it makes more sense for development. Development does the same. I think that's really the key.
So it's more personal when people are open to it.
Yeah, yeah.
When a designer and a developer are communicating with each other, where do you think the part is that might create some obstacles or difficulties with understanding each other?
I think it's really about timing. And not sitting down just one time, but really try to make it as a habit. So it's not that bad to just walk to each other's desk and talk often to get the communication that is more as a habit than just something that you really need to do.
So it should be done often, not just in case of.
No, not just in case. I think talking to each other and creating that moment more as a habit, then a lot of problems will be solved during the talks. Yeah.
I was wondering about the definition of done. I'm not going to go all Scrum Nazi or anything.
No.
You were talking about coming together, working as a team. do you feel that after this whole discovery process of getting closer together, you now have like one definition of done as a team, or you still have separate definitions of done for design?
Yeah, I think they're still a bit separated because we're still looking at things differently, and yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I will help you.
Yeah.
I think what I was wanting to ask, and failed miserably on my first try, is what's next? So you made steps to improve collaboration. So where's the next steps to even better improve collaboration?
Good question. I think it's really about getting structure in both camps. So what we are doing with the Design Bible and development team is also doing and like getting those processes more straight in both camps. That would be a next step, and then also create one that belongs in the middle. That we come up with both designers and both development. That we really create the transferring of work. That we create that Bible together. Okay, time for next room. Thanks.